What's up, Jenkins with me? So today, this is a part series I'm probably gonna be reacting to. It's actually another creepypasta. This is Logs from the Lookout Part 1 out of 5. There's 5 parts to this. I'll probably react to all of them, just when the time will probably come. I'll probably do Part 2 some other time, but yeah. If you guys hear any wind blowing, I just got a fan now, and it's helping me a lot because it's really hot in my room. But yeah, if you guys want me to react to more of this, leave a comment down below. If you guys want to see other reactions that I did, I'll link the playlist right here, somewhere around here. But yeah, the Logs of the Lookout. Apparently this is like a lookout of the ranger station, forest ranger, I don't know. If I react to more parts, I'll see what the story is about, but I'll react to part 1. Yeah. I just ugh. So anyways, let's get into this one. This one is actually 11 minutes long, so let's get into it. Bap!
When I first got the position, I wasn't entirely sure what to expect. I knew I'd be spending quite a bit of time out in the forest, and what was expected of me once I got there. However, this was a location I was unfamiliar with, and honestly, this was the first time I had done anything like this specifically.
So
I assumed that I'd just spend a few weeks out in the woods, wander through the wilderness and admire the gorgeous surroundings,
so it's like
keep a vigilant eye on my little corner of the forest.
So I think this is kind of like a forest ranger or something, like a. Okay, I don't know what these rangers are, but forest rangers or something. But yeah, this is something. It looks pretty good, but yeah, I'm just like confused because he's like, it's kind of like a ranger or something, but I don't know. Like I said, I'll probably see what the other parts has in store
and report anything that has gone awry. As I sat in the passenger seat of an old beat-up truck with a broken air conditioner, the perpetual jostling of uneven terrain was resulting in the onset of a migraine.
Oh boy.
The drive out to this location took nearly a full day of travel. We were constantly having to slow to a crawl, to wedge the truck between trees and over streams.
Oh boy.
The driver was a gruff-looking older man who had a thick salt and pepper beard. He was squinting heavily despite the trees covering most of the sunlight above. He hardly said a word for pretty much the entire ride out here. All he did was listen to the same ZZ Top album on repeat for the duration. Occasionally, I'd catch him tapping his thumb on the steering wheel whenever the chorus of a song would play. By the time we had arrived at the tower, the sun was already descending. The sky was a beautiful array of pinks and oranges. I stepped outside of the truck, and for the first time in hours, the man lowered the volume on his music. He told me everything I'd need was up in the tower. I thanked him, and with a grotesque clearing of his throat, he nodded to me and drove off. Standing before the tower, I tilted my head back and stared up at it. There were maybe 5 or 6 flights of stairs encircling upwards to the top of the tower. I glanced around at the immediate area and saw nothing out of the ordinary. Being left here alone was somewhat unsettling, but I had been working or living around the woods my entire life. I ascended the stairs to the top of the tower. A wall of glass greeted me as I passed by. Through the glass, I could see the darkened interior. I pulled out a set of keys and unlocked the door. Reaching over, I instinctively flipped the light switch on the wall, and nothing happened. Forgetting to start the generator that I had been told about beforehand, I descended the steps and located the small shack on the other side of the tower.
Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake. He did a rookie mistake. He went up to the tower, did not turn the generator, tried to turn on the lights, no power. So now he has to go back downstairs and turn on the generator. Big rookie mistake. I think that's gonna happen. That happens to a lot of people who start a new job. They don't know what they're doing. Kind of like me when I started getting a job. I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah. But the story about this is actually pretty good, though. Like, this is really gonna get me intrigued. I'll let us see what part 2 has in store.
After getting the generator up and running, I glanced up and saw the tower was now glowing after I had left the light switch on. The light seemed to pour out ominously like a solitary beacon in the night. I trekked back up the tower and finally took note of my temporary home. In the center was a square table with various papers stacked upon it. Also on the table was a firefighting device, used to locate and, with coordination from other towers, narrow down where the fire had occurred. On the opposite side from the door was a semi-solid wall, which had various maps and papers pinned to it. One of the papers was a crude drawing of a family, presumably forgotten by one of the previous fire watchers. In the corner adjacent to the map wall,
so it's a fire ranger. Like a forest fire ranger, I think. So that's intriguing. So I think when you guys go camp. Okay. So it's clicking in my head now. Like, I was confused about this. So apparently, I think when you go camping, like in a campsite in a big secluded forest, there are fire rangers that will be on lookout just in case if there's a big ass forest fire caused by, or like accidentally create a forest fire from a campsite somewhere. So, alright. Okay, it took some time for my head to be like it clicked in immediately of what this is. So, yeah.
Was a single bunk bed with a narrow end table at the head of the bed. Finally, the last wall contained a long shelf with a wood-burning stove and a crate of wood nearby.
Gotta cook something.
Underneath were numerous containers, some containing dry goods, things that keep for a long period of time. There were some bed sheets and other amenities assorted in the boxes, but most of it was just standard things. Also, I wasn't really planning on using the bed sheets. On the wall underneath the large map was a rack with a shotgun resting upon it. A small box of shells was placed on a shelf next to it. Personally, I wasn't very big on guns, but growing up around the woods, you start to appreciate their usefulness. Staring out of one of the windows, I just awed at the sea of blackness. The trees that swayed beneath the tower in the night looked like dark ocean waves. I sighed as my long day's journey was finally catching up to me, and it was time for me to head off to bed. I turned off the light near the door, and as I turned to head back to bed, for a split second, I saw a light in the distance. If it was during the day, there was no way I would have spotted it. But with it being so dark out, it was contrasting against its backdrop.
So easy dancing.
The light was a dull red, and as I looked at it for a few seconds, wondering if it was a fire of some kind,
nope.
The light began to move.
No fires.
Then a few more seconds passed, and the light stopped.
No fire moved like that.
Then vanished. Confused and too tired to worry about it at the moment, I unfurled my sleeping bag and checked to make sure the tower door was secured. I crawled into bed and was dragged off to sleep by the sounds of the forest below me. The next morning when I awoke, I had a momentary lapse in memory. I had forgotten where I was and how I had got there. That feeling inevitably passed after a few moments. I stood up from my bed and had gotten dressed. I looked around me and was amazed. The sight from up in this tower was something you can't find in photographs.
Nope.
Gorgeous landscapes for as far as the eye can see. The lush green trees split the horizon in two, and the clear blue sky took up the rest. I started a small fire in the mini stove and heated up a pot of coffee. While it was coming up to temperature, I walked over to my radio system and turned it on. I picked up the receiver and called the nearby towers to check in. After a few seconds of static, a voice came through the speaker. He said his name was Peter, and he was in Tower 7. Tower 7 was within line of sight, yet still quite a distance away. I had to use my binoculars just to see the tower, let alone spot anyone inside of it. Another voice chimed in, which was a woman's voice. She sounded calm and stoic. She said her name was Katie, and that she was in Tower 9. Tower 9 butted right up against the only lake in the area. I knew where it was on the map, and when I used my binoculars to see Tower 9, it only revealed itself as a pinpoint on the horizon. I introduced myself to them as Luke from Lookout 8. I sort of comedically rolled the introduction off my tongue, which got a few chuckles from my faceless coworkers. We spent the morning chatting about various things, such as our past and how we had ended up all the way out in the middle of nowhere. Eventually, I decided it was time to see what was nearby, as it was dark when I had gotten here and hadn't had a chance to look around yet. I stepped out of my tower and began a short walk around it. I kept my personal radio on me just in case. I hadn't really seen a need to grab the shotgun, as I wouldn't be traveling too far. As I meandered around the perimeter of the tower, I saw nothing really out of the ordinary.
But you gotta need to bring the shotgun with you, just in case anything tries to attack you, like bears, anything else can come out of the woods. Like, you gotta be, like, prepared for something like this if you're gonna be a ranger. Because things in the woods will attack you. It's not fun.
There was a small brook to the east, a clearing in the trees to the south, which had a lot of flowers laid out inside of it. It was like something out of a woodsy picture book. Other than that, there wasn't much else going on, so I decided it was time to head back up. However, when I turned to make my way back to the tower, I noticed one tree in particular that was different from the others. This one had large marks carved into it.
Oh no.
Like some type of animal had raked its claws across it, probably to mark its territory.
Like a bear
I
does.
pondered what animal might have done such a thing, and then continued on my way. As I climbed the stairs back into the tower, I saw the sun was quick on its descent. I gave my neighbors another cursory radio check and wished them both a good night. I locked the door to the tower, ate one of my survival meals, as I like to call them, and bed down for the night. That night, something strange happened. I was awoken by some feeling, not a noise or any other physical force. It was just something that caused my eyes to drift open. I glanced about without moving a muscle, and I spotted something odd. There was a glow coming from outside of the tower, and it seemed to be circling around it, like it was climbing the stairs. I felt panic growing in my chest as I eyed the shotgun to my left. I tried to calm myself by thinking it was probably one of the other watchers who had gotten lost and saw my tower. Then, the light rose to the main level of the tower. A dull red lantern was slowly bobbing next to the windows. What was carrying the lantern, I couldn't be sure. Its body seemed strange.
What the hell?
Like a man's, yet exaggerated. A long curved spine traced its silhouette. A gangly arm clutched the lantern and held it aloft in front of it. It seemed to have long hair that dangled down past its shoulders. It stopped just before it reached the door of the tower. Then, it immediately turned and faced the glass, looking directly at me. I stared at it with wide eyes. Then, a few moments later, it turned and began to descend the stairs. Whether it be fear or confusion,
terrifying.
You name it, something must have drove me back to sleep, as I found myself waking up the next morning.
After hearing something like that, that's probably something like, you're probably thinking like, was that a dream? Was that a nightmare? But when you wake up and you like remember anything about that, been like, oh no, what I saw was real.
I have no idea what that thing was. I don't know if that was just a dream, or perhaps my brain using my imagination to fabricate something like that.
Nope.
All I know is, I'm basically stuck out here. And that was just the very first day.
Alright, that is the Logs of the Lookout Part 1. That was a really good one. Basically I found out that he's basically being a forest fire ranger, being there just to be okay. Make sure the camps are okay in the forest as well. I was thinking about him being like a forest ranger because of the outfit he was wearing, but it could be two of those. But that thing when I saw, holy, that was like terrifying. But I hope I wanted to see what part 2 has in store, but I'll react to that soon. But yeah, check out the other playlists. Check the videos of the playlist that I reacted to. Sorry. And that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you do. Go subscribe to me. Let's get to 500 subscribers. Thank you all so much for 90 subscribers though. So yeah, thanks for that. Anyways, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna, fuck it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video again. Leave a like if you do. Go subscribe to me. Look at the 500 subscribers. If you guys want more content, check out the boys' channels, Mountain Rhino, Rusted Fuse, and Sparks Lake. All 3 channels are in the link in the description. I'm Ray Mason, signing out, and peace, dragons.